Hello, hello everybody. Hello, Gabby. Hello, Fun P Ren KSTV. Hello, Dipanshu. And everyone else I just chatted to in the chat instead of verbally saying hello to. So, how are you guys doing? What's the latest? Hello, Lori. Hello, Keanu. Hello, Scott. And thank you for the kind words, Scott. Hello, Ronaldo. Little bit of a mini break for me. How are you guys doing? Any new developments going on in your life? Um, Breakups, makeups, fake ups? I was trying to think of some other rhymes. Um, anyway, so let's get into it tonight, guys. Let's get into the Q&A. I've been leveling up mentally. I've been studying with my male gaze coach. I've been reading a ton of books by so-called relationship experts throughout the ages. Yeah, that's mostly it. But anyway, guys, what about you? Have you been leveling up? How's your looks maxing journeys going? How's your game maxing journeys going? How's your female gaze maxing journeys going? Have you watched any films, TikToks that have given you a enlightenment moment? All right, guys. The Toe Panther says, "How is the book attached?" I have read the book attached. It's good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I tried to read some other books on attachment theory, and I definitely thought that was the easiest to read. I'm not totally sold on attachment theory, but it's another way of describing patterns people have been noticing in relationships for a long time now. So, as far as any system goes, it's pretty good, I guess. It's at least descriptive. What do you think of the book Attached if you've read it or if you have not read it? Have you heard of it? What do you think of attachment theory? Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the next question, but that's a great question. Yeah, it's like the book Attached, I mean, it basically tells you like only anxiously attached people are good. So either date someone who's anxiously attached or secure, but it's basically telling you on no circumstances date someone who's avoidant or your life will be miserable forever. So, what do you guys think of that? All right, so now let's see which question should I choose next. So, all right. Let's read what Evie has written. He says, "Today I met a new girl, a friend of a friend. She's kind of bratty with others, but the moment I showed up, she started acting so childish and very, very, very shy. She acted like she was very helpless. What I did throughout the time I was around her, I kept directing her what to do and what not to do. When we were on the train, I was guiding her to hold the rail firm, even though she was fine. And then I asked her if she had a fever, even though she didn't. She suddenly pretended to be sick." Oh, Lordy, Evie. Okay. No comment. Give your thoughts. Well, Evie, as you know, I always enjoy your comments and everything, but this one seems a little like I should give a name for it, which is kind of just like, here's all the evidence that this girl wanted to jump on my dick. Please tell me she wanted to jump on my dick. Like, this is a very common like question I get. I mean, you pretty much what's the word in like interrogation where you kind of force a confession? It's almost like you're trying to force a confession out of me. She wanted you so bad, bro. I mean, how do I know that you're not just kinda skewing the facts? I mean, to me, it sounds a little like you almost, like, intimidated her because 'cause you're trying to, like, dom her, and she's kinda like, "Oh my god, I don't know what to think about this dude." Did she wanna jump on your dick? I mean, I don't know, Evie, make a move. See if she rejects you, and then you'll know for sure. So, what I'm asking is what goes through the female mind? Alright. So, what goes through the female mind if alright, let's read what you did, and then I'll tell you what could go through her mind. So, you kept directing her what to do and what not to do. Well, what would go through my mind is like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? This is such an arrogant asshole over here. She might be into that, but I'd kind of be like, this, the audacity of this man is out of this world. When we were on the train, I was guiding her to hold the rail firm, even though she was fine. Again, I'd kind of be like, what the hell? But yeah, some girls could be into it because they're secret subs and they're looking for a dom. Then I asked her if she had a fever, even though she didn't. She suddenly pretended to be sick. I don't know. This could also be like a fawn reaction. It'd be kind of just like, I mean, this is bizarre. You knew she doesn't have a fever, but you asked her if she has a fever. What was the point of that? She suddenly pretended to be sick. Yeah, this is not like a typical, like, submissive behavior, like pretending to be sick. If a guy, that's almost like you're trying to say you like hypnotized her or something. And then she just wanted to like, she fell under your spell. To be honest, I can't tell if she was just kind of like avoiding you or if she enjoyed being like bossed around by you because she's just that much of a sub. I don't know, Evie. So, what do you guys think? So, Tyke Smith says, "What is an anxious attachment personality like? How do I spot one?" Um, it's somebody who likes closeness, um, thinks about their relationship a lot, really wants to be in a relationship, really wants like the security of knowing they're loved and needed and wanted. They might need a lot of reassurance. It's really not that bad, in my opinion. It's actually pretty good. But hey, I'm biased because according to attachment theory, I have anxious attachment. Some people think of it as just being a loving person. But supposedly, if you're with someone who's avoidant, it can cause a lot of drama because the avoidant person wants to stonewall. One of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, as the relationship expert John Gottman says, while the anxious person wants to work it out. So the stonewaller will be saying, I need some space. The anxious person will be saying, let's work it out. And the stonewall will be like, get back, bitch. And then the anxious person will be like, oh, you hurt my feelings so bad, or whatever. Boom, it all explodes in a horrible, toxic explosion. Okay, so you want to avoid the anxious, avoidant dance, supposedly. However, yeah, are anxious people that bad? Not really. However, there could be like extremes of just like if you take someone who's like extremely needy and insecure, okay, they could have anxious attachment be on like the extreme end of the spectrum. Can they be annoying? Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I wouldn't be necessarily trying to avoid anxiously attached people. However, if you do start dating someone who's like incredibly needy, insecure, and like jealous and all that, sure, avoid them by all means. But in my opinion, the real people you need to avoid, which I tell you guys on my channel, are people on the cluster B spectrum. People with narcissistic personality, people with sociopathic personality, people with borderline personality, people with paranoid personality disorder, and what's the fifth one? People with I said paranoid. Oh yeah, histrionic personality disorder. Read that book, Five People Who Can Ruin Your Life, and avoid those people. Don't be worried about anxious or avoidant, in my opinion, but yeah. Anyway, Louise says, "Hi, Vic. What are your thoughts on nymphomaniacs?" Okay, something I actually have a lot of experience with. Okay? Nymphomaniacs, in other words, people who are hypersexual, people who have high sexual desire. What are your thoughts on them? They're amazing. They're great. But they're only really good with other people who also have hypersexuality, high desire. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be in like a toxic situation because one person's going to be like, how dare you like pressure me to have sex? And the other person's going to be like, I need sex. Like, you don't need sex. That's not true. Sex is not a need. It's like, yeah, for me, it is a need. How dare you? You're sexually coercing me, and it all explodes. So find someone with a similar sex drive to you. If you're hypersexual, if you're a nymphomaniac, that's wonderful. Find another nymphomaniac. You'll live in perfect bliss and harmony, like myself with Beardo. What's your thoughts on it, Luis? I'm pretty sure, like, nymphomaniac, they kind of, it's like a very sexist term for basically a woman who likes sex a lot. Of course, they're always trying to demonize female sexuality throughout the ages, so they got to give them a term like, oh my gosh, a crazy slut woman who isn't a virgin. Oh no, she might cheat on me because she'll see a guy whose dick is bigger than mine, and she won't be able to control herself. What do you guys think? So, Talise. He says, could you give your opinion on Girls Chase article about women that are mean are horny women? Oh God, Talise, this sounds hilarious. Please send me this article. That sounds so stupid, but very funny. How did he twist it to mean that? That's absolutely ridiculous and absurd, but please let me see his argument. I'd love to see this. Oh, wow. Or at least tell me his argument, Talise. How does he explain his point? Let me have it. Uh so all right. Lori says, I have trouble making eye contact while speaking at the same time, Victoria. Sometimes I'll just smile and wait for them to look away before I continue speaking. Lori, I know what you mean. I feel awkward a lot of times about eye contact as well. Okay, so I know the feeling, and if I'm looking at someone in the eye, sometimes I just lose all train of thought. I'm like, so do I wish I could just like close my eyes while speaking to people? Yes, I do. So I get it, Lori, and it must be kind of common, right? But what do you do about it, and what do you think about it, Lori? So L star 3 says also hypersexuality could come from sexual abuse. Yes, that's one type of hypersexuality. I've heard that, like, especially in kids and stuff. It's very disturbing and very sad. That's what I've heard is a sign of sexual abuse. Okay, that's horrible. Okay. However, there's also people who have not been sexually abused who are just, they like sex. And a lot of people try to kind of, what's the word? Like, they try to just force them into that. They're like, oh, well, really look within you and see if you have any trauma in your past that causes you to want sex instead of love. And, you must have some like deep wounds or something, which means that you're like searching for something in everyone and you just can't be satisfied. That's why you want so much sex. Blah, 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 blah. They don't get it. They don't have the gift. Goodbye. But yes, I agree with you, Ale. There are some people for whom that's real, okay? But not for everyone. So, yeah. Sam L. Williams says, I told this girl we should go on a date soon. Her response was, I'm leaving town for a few weeks, but I hope to see you soon. Not a bad response. Could be her playing hard to get potentially. Um. Okay, so you told her we should go on a date soon. Okay, that's, I guess, fine to like break the ice. And then she said her response was, I'm leaving town for a few weeks, but I hope to see you soon. I think you should have responded something like, "When do you leave?" And then she's like, "Oh, I'm leaving Friday." And you'd be like, "How about Thursday? How about we do, like, dinner Thursday?" What about something like that, Sam Williams? Because this is so ambiguous. This is so up in the air. It's like she's leaving, but not yet. So is she waiting for you to ask her on a date? Yeah, I agree. It seems kind of neutral. It's almost like sh I don't think she's playing hard to get, but it's almost like is she kind of trying to avoid you, or is she actually interested in waiting for you to ask her on a date? Could be either one. That's why I think you should like bring it to a head, if you will. Ask her on the date. So did you do that, Sam Williams? So let's see. Yeah, Tully's. uh, Did you get that article? Put in the chat. Maybe I could read it. So, Evie, you said no. She was physically moving closer to me and was asking me a lot of questions about myself. Why? All right, Evie, but I feel like you're falling into like this age-old trap of guys on my channel, which I feel like by now is it rude to say you should know better? Because it's like, what is the point of questioning this? Like, you could just be like many guys on my channel, decades later, literally 40, 50, 60 years later. They're writing things like this to me in the comments, like, there was once a girl. I was sitting outside like the place where I was working when I was 18 years old. She came up to me and made eye contact with me and asked me for a light. Do you think she wanted me? I'm like, bro, it's 60 years later. The time was then, not now, okay? So same situation with you, Evie. Why didn't you find out for yourself in the moment? Why are you being a green light man here and wondering if she's giving you the green light before you do something about it? You're not gonna be sent to jail by just saying, just making some kind of move, making some kind of asking for her number, getting her number, asking her on a date, going on a date. Well, where's all that, Evie? Box, Locksick, hello, and thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, "Hi, Victoria. Green light question. If in the venue, does it make sense to approach a woman who does not return eye contact?" Yes, Box, it does. Are your chances great at that point? Probably not. But there's been many of a time where a girl, maybe she's not like the most interested in a guy, but then he starts talking to her and he wins her over. So, do I put your odds at like, I'd give you maybe like 10% odds. Is that worth it? Absolutely. Okay. Just maybe 10% is too low. It's definitely worth it. One, for your own practice. Okay. Because like the more you approach people, the more you will begin to gain, a fingertip feel, as Robert Greene calls it. You will begin to just kind of have like your own intuition about these things. Okay. But the more you avoid putting yourself in these situations, the more I feel like you'll just live in fear. You know what I mean? So you're going to be facing your fear. You're going to be exposing yourself to your fear. You're going to be practice talking to women. You're going to be making your own calculations about what the odds are. Okay. But is it out of the question that a girl who does not return your eye contact could still kind of be interested in you once she starts talking to you? Of course not. It's very possible. Okay. Is it better odds if she, is eye fucking you? Sure. Okay. But don't be that guy who just waits for like, oh, I think there's, no chance I will get rejected. Finally, my time is right. And then like some guy swoops in right as you make your move, like, damn it, that was my only chance or whatever. So like, you know what I'm saying, Box? Absolutely, I would do it. Absolutely, there is a chance. Absolutely, it is not illegal. absolutely, this girl will not be so, feeling like, "Oh my gosh, he should have known that because I didn't make eye contact, like, he is violating me by talking to me." No, okay? Not at all. What if she just, like, didn't even see you? You know what I'm saying? What if she's shy and she just kinda looks down? What if she's embarrassed? There's so many reasons that I think you should just do it, box. Plus, is the masculine attitude girls like, whether they accept or reject. What do you think, guys? And what do you think, box, as well? And thank you again so much for the super chat, but it is absolutely appropriate. I'll just tell you that. And I think it's a good idea. Okay. Jose, hello, Jose. Thank you so much for your super chat, Jose. And it was awesome to meet you as well. So he says, I don't want to cheat, but the only way I can know if my female roommate likes me is if I kiss her. If I don't make a move, I will never know. Uh-oh, Jose. I don't know. All right, so I know this situation. Okay. Well, Jose, I mean, that's cheating. I mean, are you willing to risk your relationship with your girlfriend? It seems like you've got a really good situation with your girlfriend because she's very open-minded. She's willing to like explore sexually with you. So why don't you guys just like go to some sex parties, sex clubs? You have like explore with her. But if you cheat on your girlfriend, you're gonna lose her. You're gonna mess up your roommate situation. And if your female roommate doesn't like you just have blown everything up for the chance, that this girl kisses you. And I have a question, Jose. Remember what we discussed in our call? Did you ever have that conversation with her? And how did she respond? But I really think this is not the way to go about it, okay? If you want to, I mean, your girlfriend, she seems like so open minded. You could even, I mean, I guess she's going to be like, I mean, you could bring it up with her, like, I want to try it. Maybe she'll just be like, uh, but this, I wouldn't blow things up with your girlfriend. I would definitely not cheat and get in the habit of cheating. I mean, your girlfriend has been like totally open and honest with you, and I don't think there's any need to do this. Um, you can't have it both ways. Like, you can break up with your girlfriend, you can move out of the house, and you could try to make things happen with your female roommate, but you can't just cheat on your girlfriend and also have it with the female roommate. You know what I'm saying, Jose? So, what do you think? What's your thoughts? Have you had any more conversation with either your girlfriend or the female roommate? Let me know, Jose. Nani. Nani, thank you so much for your very generous super chat. Great to see you. And he says, no way. I just finished chapter 2 of The Fourth Wing and just saw the notification you were live. Hey, everyone. Oh, bravo, Nani, doing the female gaze homework. I didn't even, I might have suggested Fourth Wing too. Or I don't know, maybe you just picked up on your own. I forgot if it was me or you who, whatever. But anyway, how is Fourth Wing going? And have you got to the chapter yet where she sees her love interest for the first time and any female gaze insights or yeah, and just how are things going with your situations and situationships? Let me know, Nani, and it's great to see you. Okay. Nani says, I'm a bit confused. I feel like Zayden might be trouble. Well, Nani, I actually haven't finished Fourth Wing. I got it on free book on audiobook, and it expired before I managed to finish it. So I wasn't actually too far in anyway. So I'll have to read up as well. to get on your level. So, let's see. All right, Tallis says, in order for you to see the article, could you do it by copy pasting from chat or you need to Google it by yourself? That's a very bold article that I really wanted your opinion, but there isn't enough space here. Okay, Tallis, could you maybe summarize it for us? Like maybe summarize the main points? You could also post the link in the chat to the article. Or you could email it to me at MyNonLeatherLife at gmail.com as well. So, all right, let's go back up a little so I can see if anyone responded to my questions I posed. So Freya says, sorry, can you respond to my question above? Thank you. So let me see where that is, Freya, because I don't see it. Okay. Okay, Freya says, when I insert some domination, either ask something about herself or really see in his eyes, she thinks it's sexual harassment. I am confused. Any comments? Yes, well, the stuff about domination, Freya, I've tried to explain on my channel, but I mean, I know not everyone watches every video or every live, obviously. But, you don't want to be doing any real domination. Like save that overt domination for someone who's into it in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? However, there's kind of a watered down, light, conceptual domination, which you can see going on dates in the form of you are the escalator. You are the guy who pushes the action forward, as Beardo said. You are the initiator. You are taking that masculine role. You are kind of taking this role of kind of like older, wiser. That can get some guys into trouble with the mansplaining, but older, wiser man. It's like more of like a conceptual thing on dates, at first dates, and when you're getting to know someone. But then when it comes to the bedroom, and once you kind of like discuss and kind of get some clue about what she's into, that's when the real BDSM with someone who's into it, with someone who consents, with someone who likes it, can happen. So you don't want to really try any overt domination, just telling someone what to do, just kind of acting like super aggressive before you know someone, before you've developed rapport with someone, before you've developed comfort and chemistry with someone. I mean, that's just going to backfire. So does that help at all, Freya? I know it can be a little confusing, I guess, from some of my videos. I don't know. Maurice 99 says, hey, are most strippers lesbians and actually hate men? Some strippers are lesbians. Some strippers hate men in the same way probably like a lot of women hate men. But no, I would not say all. But I mean, they see a lot of bad male behavior, that's for sure. So it can be hard not to get jaded, but no, I would not say like ultimately they hate men, and no, they're not all lesbians. Or you said most. I would not say most either. Alien Traveler says, in what ways do a lot of women hate men? There's a lot there. Okay, Alien Traveler. I mean, a lot of women see men as arrogant, shallow. Like I guess I'll go into a little more detail. Like they see him as arrogant in the sense that like for example, on my channel alone, like sometimes like the arrogance is like mind-boggling that I see. Like literally boggles my mind. Like on my video, the raw attractive power, right? You look at the comments, okay? Almost 85% of those comments are just guys trying to say it better than me, just saying, I think the word she is looking for is masculinity. I got one today. I think what she meant to say was attractiveness. They just try to mansplain a lot, boil it down in a really obnoxious way. That's something a lot of women don't like about men. They see, the way you guys try to be helpful, try to provide knowledge, try to teach women is very, very patronizing, condescending, arrogant. A lot of women will say like the audacity of men because it's kind of like this mind-boggling feeling of like it's kind of like does he look down on me so much that he thinks I don't have a mind of my own, that I'm not as smart as him, that it's just bizarre to women. Okay, that's one thing they don't like. Then the whole classless thing or shallow thing. I mean, they see how you guys are very black pilled yourselves when it comes to women. They don't like that. They see how kind of like sex obsessed you are, how body obsessed rather than whole person obsessed. That's kind of part of the female gaze they try to talk to you guys about, and how you need to kind of like talk about like her person, her essence, her soul, her energy rather than the shape of her body parts. There's lots of things like that which just kind of eat away, gnawing away at the core of women when they think about men. So yeah, they don't like that about men. And that's just to start with, okay, guys. There's a lot more where that came from, but yeah. Laura Stewart says, I wish they would talk about this stuff in school. I agree, Laura. I mean, we all need an education. I needed an education in that stuff as well. Jesus says, correct me if I'm wrong, but do you have any Hispanic family members / friends you spend a lot of time with? I'm noticing similar Hispanic tones in your voice. I wish I did. I got none, but besides that, unfortunately, no. But I do watch a lot of TikTok, so maybe I could pick some of it up from that. But yeah, unfortunately, no. So, but that's interesting, Jesus. So, so Giga Brother says, from your perspective, why do women seem to completely lose their shit if you deny them a hookup? Okay, well, Giga Brother, first of all, I gotta point you to my book of the book of the day, which is the 5 people who can ruin your life. If someone's completely losing their shit on you, that's a bad sign, in my opinion. If you're denying them a hookup and they're losing their shit on you, scary, right? I don't know what the exact situation is, but be careful. They might have like borderline personality or something like that. You should kind of stay away from that. But I mean, on just kind of like a general level or whatever, I mean, I think women are sensitive about this kind of thing because they almost have a perception of men as like sex crazed animals. Do you know what I mean? It's like men always want sex. Men think about sex like 7 times a minute or whatever. So it's like, what does that say if somebody who's like obsessed with sex doesn't want you? It's almost like a blow to the ego. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this is a normal reaction. And I actually think it's like probably a warning sign to like get out. You know what I'm saying? But in general, they can be sensitive about this topic because they're not used to being rejected. All right, lots of girls, guys, lots of guys are constantly wanting to hook up with them. So then if somebody is like, no, I'm not attracted to you, they're like, what? But men are attracted to like this is what they say on TikTok, guys, dead bodies. So it's almost like saying men are attracted to anything. So it's like if they're not attracted to you, it's like, what are you? Worse than that? So that can be kind of how they might be thinking. Bit of a sensitive point for some women. Okay. Is it right? No. I'm just telling you how it is, okay? And obviously, it's just not all women, okay? I don't think all women completely lose their shit, but this could be why they're sensitive, okay? So, Laura says, "I've Victoria, I've taken your advice and trying out some female fantasy love stories, and I'm sort of writing one of my own. Very cool, Lori. What's it about?" So, Eric says, "I'm confused between what's being too moralistic, but also showing respect. I want to initiate, but I fear she'll think I'm not respecting her." Yes, Eric, this is a very, very common nice guy dilemma. Okay. And I'm not being sarcastic about the whole nice guy thing. Like, it honestly is a very nice problem to have, in that it means you're a good person, in my opinion. It means you care. It means you do have morals. It means you are a kind, thoughtful person. So I respect it. But it can trap you, because what do you need from her? She's probably not gonna give it to you. But that's why I like to just have guys keep in mind the runway concept, where you don't want to go from 0 to 100. You don't want to just meet someone and then kiss them right away. Might be like a sexual fantasy, but it might like make people feel very uncomfortable. You want to do the right things on date at the appropriate time the woman is ready and expecting them. It's almost like there's a choreography, an order, an etiquette, okay? Like, for example, when you first meet the girl, there's kind of appropriate things you can do. Like, there's kind of the appropriate polite touches on the arm. You can give a hug. You could touch the back or the shoulder, right? But you can't touch more when you first meet. So, but then when like things start heating up, you could touch like the hand or even the hair, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like at different points along the typical trajectory of the night, there's appropriate etiquette of what you can and can't touch. And if you respect that, she's not going to be, and there's always a chance you'll read something wrong, or she'll just be like very, touchy, but she should be expecting and not finding it aggressive, sudden, unexpected, violating. Do you know what I mean? So, a lot of this whole like fear of not knowing when to initiate, I honestly feel is you just don't know exactly what to do on the date. And there's not like a formula, right? But there's kind of, the more you, I could tell you what it is, Eric. Get a session with me. We'll go through a date if you've been on one, and I'll tell you what's appropriate at what time, what the girl's kind of expecting you to do. But yeah, you know, this is kind of like, in my opinion, a fear that shouldn't be a fear, because there's a right way to do it, and I feel like you just don't know what the right way to do it is. Do you know what I'm saying, Eric? Does that make sense? Hopefully, I explained that well enough. Hopefully. So, Draco BT says, "If a woman talks about sex with you, is that a sign of interest?" She said, "Not even sex can fix my day at work," while I was walking with her. I think that's a sign of either comfort with you, that she feels relaxed, she feels comfortable with you, or it could be a sign that she is a very sex positive person and has a comfort with talking about sex herself. But the possibility that she's kind of saying it as like a sexual, like kind of like a come on, is that the word? To you is I would say lower, but it is a good sign that she's relaxed and comfortable enough with you to feel comfortable opening up about sex. However, I don't think it's the same thing as like if a guy kind of like brings up sex, like it's almost like you could bet that he wants to have sex, right? But it is a good sign that she, in my opinion, feels relaxed, open, and comfortable. And I think that there's not potential there. There could be. Okay. But don't read it as this like one-to-one thing where it's like she brings up sex, she wants sex. It's not that simple. Do you know what I mean, Draco BT? It's not like I'm horny, therefore I bring up sex, hoping that he will get the message and ask me to have sex. Like, it's not like that, but it could be a good sign. So, so Zaki says, I started using dating apps almost 3 months now, and when I go to first dates with very little chat beforehand, I always find it difficult to bring the conversation to the topic of sex. Okay, Zaki, so why are you trying to bring the conversation to the topic of sex? I mean, it's not a necessity that you bring the conversation to the topic of sex. Like, you want to be kissing her, maybe doing a little make out, and then you can invite her back to your place, but you don't do that with an explicit mention of sex. You do that by kind of finding some low key, non sexual way to create the setting, the environment for your sexualities to blossom. You know what I'm saying? You don't say at the end of the date, hey, it's kind of awkward to bring up, but would you like to have sex? I know we had very little chat beforehand, but I like sex, you like sex, eh? Like, that would be absolutely horrible. I mean, obviously, I'm just making a ridiculous thing. But you want to say something like, hey, would you want to come back to my place so we can check out and I can show you that show I was talking about? Or we could like, or I could, you could like, let's say she mentioned she plays guitar or piano. We could like jam together, or I just want to drop off my clothes. I want to change clothes, and then maybe we could go out again and get another drink. Like, you do something like that where it's just, or we could have tea and just talk. We could just chill, and like I could make you some toast. Like, you want to give almost like a non-sexual, light excuse. Okay, now in her head, she's thinking, right, you'll make me toast. Sure. But she appreciates the fact that she hasn't signed a contract that she's going to have sex with you. She's just going to give it another chance to see if she's open. Okay. But you're going to have a better chance once you're in, private apartment, when you have a couch and a bed, and then you want to make the moves there too and see if she's open to it and into it. Okay. And if she's not, that's fine. You can go on another date and work up to it again. However, that's the way to bring the conversation to the topic of sex. You don't literally bring the conversation to the topic of sex. You don't ever say sex. I mean, let's say the date's getting really flirty, you're drinking, sex comes up, and she kind of like brings it there, let's say, and then like you talk about it a little. That's fine. That could be hot, but it doesn't have to go there. And you don't have to ever bring to the topic of sex. Do you see what I mean, Zaki? Did I explain it well enough? J Air says, y'all want sex, but don't know how to flirt. Shaking my head is not going to happen. Yeah, Jay, with that attitude, it is not going to happen for you. You're literally putting yourself in an impossible position, Jay, where you want women to be the sexual aggressors, and guess what? With very few exceptions, it's not going to happen. If you want to wait for those exceptions, by all means, you can wait. However, depending on your level of looks, you may be waiting many years, many decades, or it may never happen. So I would accept that the women want you to be the initiator. The sooner you accept that, the better. So Zaki says, if I don't mention anything about sex or relationships in general, then I see that the date goes to a very friendly direction. They don't really see me as someone to keep dating as a sexual partner. Well, Zaki, the instead of mentioning sex, that's too literal. That's too direct. To create a sexual connection on the date, you need to do things like one, give compliments, do some teasing, some flirting, but the flirting does not have to involve literal talk about sex or relationships. You have to kind of physically escalate things. You have to ask them back to your place. You have to be confident and calm, but you don't have to talk about sex. Like, give me an example, Ziggy. What do you want to bring up about sex? Oh, by the way, I'm very well endowed. By the way, what positions do you like? This is going to be a big turnoff for women. Unless, like I said, it kind of comes at a time when you guys are already having great chemistry, you're bantering, you're feeling loose, you're feeling attracted to each other. Sure, then you can do it then. But that's not the way to create chemistry. It's just bringing up sex. Giga Brother says, Danny, you have to pull the Venice out. Exactly. Like what do you exactly? So cool. Thank you so much for your super chat. And he says, if mixed signals, do I even bother? It's like she wants me, but also wants me aggressive double texting and stuff. I'm independent, so I usually don't. Say goodbye to your dates, cool? Yes. All right. This is another very common mentality I see in guys, okay? And it's very bad. It's certain doom, in my opinion, cool. And that's a guy who I don't know if he's got a little too much pride, a little too much dignity, a little too many red pill videos telling him what he wants to hear, which is that, you're the prize. You're the prize, okay, but in a slightly different way than they say it, right? Like, I want you to have self respect and I want you to know you are desirable, right? However, if you just take that to this point where you're thinking, well, if she doesn't want me, if she wants me to double text, if she wants me to pursue, if she wants me to initiate things, if she wants me to fight for her, then it's not happening. It won't happen. Because see, women, part of the female gaze is basically a man who initiates, a man who pursues, a man who's not easily thrown off, a man who is calm but persistent, a man who is non-reactive in this kind of way where they don't kind of get turned off if she kind of flakes and they don't blow up on her and be like, well, bitch, I don't need you. You're fat anyway. I'm so much better than you. I could do better. All this stuff, horror. Like women have got every woman knows this kind of guy, okay? That's the last kind of guy they want. So, yes, my answer to you is do you even bother? Yes, you do. If you're asking me, cool. You just stay calm. If you like her, you definitely double text. You definitely pursue because once you get her on a date, once you get her on a second date, once you get her on a third date, once you guys have sex, trust me, it's not like this forever, okay? It's just in the beginning, it's almost like they pose a jump and you got to jump over the hurdle. And then they think, "Wow, this guy has what it takes. This guy's masculine. This guy's being a man. This guy has that masculine je ne sais quoi that I love and desire as a heterosexual woman. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you refuse to do any of that, cool, you're gonna be missing out on a lot of girls. Just like I said, once you get them on the dates, it's not gonna be like this forever. But in the beginning, I would swallow a little bit of pride. Trust me, they don't look at you as some kind of simp or wimp or, what's the opposite of a Chad for doing it. They respect it, they think it's masculine, they think it's normal, and they literally expect it from basically every kind of guy they date. It's like that kind of guy or nothing. So if you want that kind of girl, accept it or just wait for the sexually aggressive women of the beta male dreams, to put it in a very blunt truth bomb way. Cool. So he said, I'm independent, so I usually don't. I would just change your attitude up just a little, cool. I know it's annoying. I know that's that's the female gaze. That's what they want. That's what they desire. That's what's sexy to them. So if you don't want to do it, I don't know if they'll even be attracted. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe if you just look smack so hardcore, they'll be texting you. I don't know, cool, but that's the typical masculine attitude that women expect. So what do you think, cool? Nani, somebody who has a lot of experience with this type of thing. Um, Thank you so much for your super chat again, Nani. And he says, lol, the girl I usually text went from sending voice notes to not opening my text for days, and I be triple texting. I don't care. I crave her more. Mm, wow, Nani. This is, I think you're doing well, Nani. This is the attitude. So has she written you back since you be triple texting? Triple texting is fine. And like, for example, Nani, I hope you don't mind me using you as an example. Like, you, me and you, we kind of share different videos back and forth or just message sometimes, right? And you do that kind of with me sometimes. Like this week, I've had like a crazy, crazy week. I've been so exhausted. I haven't looked at TikTok because I made this special thing that I'm only going to do TikTok on the treadmill. So I've just been too exhausted to even go on it. So I haven't been looking at my TikTok. And I respect that you don't get triggered, that you don't feel like rejected if I didn't look at these things for a while. Still, I mean, it was the same with Beardo, my boyfriend. He did the same thing. He just stayed calm. He didn't get reactive when I didn't respond. And that's the same thing you do, Nani. And just like back then with Beardo, I respect it now as well. I'm like, that's a very masculine attitude. It's almost like being the rock in a way. It's like impressive because it's like most people would kind of get triggered by that, right? But it's like you don't. You're kind of calmer than that. You're one level above that. It so even now, it still gives me that same feeling of like, damn, that's respectable. So yeah, I'd say it's a very attractive quality, and I think you're doing well, and that's for cool too. So and Nani, do you have any advice for Cool? Because he just super chatted me again. Thank you so much, Cool. And he says, how to pursue without losing self respect. It feels like it's some mind games that are giant red flags. So I'll give you my answer, Cool, but I'm also curious of Nani with Nani's answer because how did you do it without losing self respect, Nani? What's your take? So thank you so much, Cool. And the second part I think I can answer. So he said, how to pursue without losing self respect. All right. Well, this first sentence, Cool, it's almost like does not compute in my head because from a female perspective, she doesn't see you as losing self-respect for double texting. I mean, there's a way to do it badly and a way to do it Well, the way to do it well is being calm, non-reactive. The way doing badly is just question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello? Did you get my text? This is not cool. All that kind of stuff. Okay. That it probably would cause her to lose self-respect for you. But if you just kind of are like almost as if it never happened, that she didn't ignore you, she doesn't see that as you losing self-respect. She sees that, and I've never been more honest right now, cool. I promise you. She she sees that as how do I phrase this perfectly, but she sees that as highly respectable. She sees that as masculine. She sees that as admirable because she sees how do I say this? This is the kind of guy who gets results in life and in the work world. Okay. This is the kind of guy who could like negotiate a business deal. That's kind of how she sees it. He doesn't get triggered, he doesn't freak. And so she sees it as like an admirable, attractive quality. So then the second part, it feels like it's some mind games that are giant red flags. This is another big male blind spot. Okay? Because it's almost like saying, like, let's say you have a certain type of woman you like, all right? Let's say she's big boobs, skinny waist, big butt. Just guessing. All right? And now imagine if some girl said, you know, God, this guy is just playing mind games. It's a giant red flag that he likes girls with big boobs, skinny waist, and butt. Like, what a horrible red flag. It's like, okay, you like what you like. Is that a mind game? No. So it's the same thing for women where it's like, you know, it's not a mind game that she likes a assertive, calm, competent, dominant even guy. That's not a giant red flag and that's not a mind game. That's the female gaze. That's what women like. It's not a mind game and it's not a red flag. So you seeing it as a mind game and a red flag, it just shows like a quite horrible lack of comprehension of what women are into. Do you know what I'm saying, cool? So you need to like switch up this attitude. But my question to you, cool, is why does it feel like losing self-respect? Like, what do you think she's thinking that's bad about you that would cause her to to lose respect for you? So therefore, you're losing self-respect. Does that make sense? So I'm curious, like, what are you telling yourself? Like, what are the thoughts you're telling yourself that if you double text, if you pursue, that you're losing self-respect? Because I'm telling you, this is completely topsy-turvy. Because in a woman's head, that's what a man does. And anyone who doesn't do it, like, basically isn't a man, to put it very bluntly. Okay? Maybe they're a man, but they're a boy, not a man. You know how girls say that a lot, like, "Oh, I need a man, not a boy." So, what you're saying is losing self-respect, they're seeing as being a man. That being said, do not freak out, go overboard, and start lashing out at her with a lot of resentment because that surely will cause her to lose respect. All right, goodbye, Nani. Thanks so much for your super chats and for your input. And I'll be able to read that soon. Let me just get to this other super chats. Oh, Talise, thank you so much for your super chat. And you said you emailed the popular. Okay, let me try to find that. Hmm. Damn it, I didn't get it. Maybe it's in spam. Let me look. Hmm. Did you send it to MyNonLeatherLife at gmail.com? For some reason, I'm not getting it yet, Mike. Apologies for that. Would you mind putting oh, I don't know if YouTube lets you put links, but, uh, sorry about that, Talise. Or at least copy and paste the title into the chat, and maybe I can copy and paste it and find the link myself. Jesus, go buy you that $5 big box from Popeyes, girl. Wow, thank you so much, Jesus, for your super chat. I really appreciate that, and for the kind wishes. Uh, and if I missed your a question of yours, Jesus, I will try to look for it. Sometimes it's a bit difficult in the chat box. Thanks again, Jesus, for super chat. And thanks again to Lise. And I want to get to your article, so send me that title. So Nani has said, I just learned new things and have a hobby for myself, learning more female gaze, having a social life. Whenever Victoria, my fighting coach, doesn't text me back immediately, I don't get mad. I'm also listening to Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, so it's okay if the woman I'm texting isn't attentive to me. If I haven't even done anything for her, it's not transactional. Oh, wow. No, I can't believe you're reading Men Are From Mars. Yeah, I just read that book, so uh, let me know your thoughts when you are done with that. And now he's going to the gym. Star student much? Anyway. So, all right. Cool says, I guess my fear is being led on. I'm not outcome dependent, but it just feels manipulative. I guess my thoughts are she's implicitly telling me with her behavior she's not that interested, but I pursue anyways. Feels like losing self respect. Okay, cool. That makes sense. I always keep cool and I'm pretty nonchalant. Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to read like between the lines. Like, is she being super rude? Is she kinda giving you almost like the red lights? Is it kinda obvious that she's not into you? Or is it sometimes positive, sometimes negative? Do you know what I mean? Or just kind of lukewarm, or she's not being the aggressor. That's different than she's basically telling you without telling you, "Get lost." Do you know what I'm saying? But give me an example, cool, of like a text where you kind of feel it's like lukewarm or whatever, and I'll tell you, it doesn't sound good, or no, cool, it's your turn to double text, ask her out again, and wait till she actually rejects you. But yeah. Hello, Sharma. Oh, totally says I emailed it through your website. That's very bad. Email it to mynonleatherlife@gmail.com. Because I don't check the website anymore. So, hello, Tariq, and hello, Meathead Rob. Check out Song of Solomon in the Bible. All right, I might do that, Tariq. Why do you think I would like it and get a lot out of it? And thanks for the suggestion. So, Master Yoda, hello. He says Q&A on female behavior. This will be interesting. I hope I can interest you, Master Yoda. Dan says, isn't it creepy if guys double text? Not necessarily, Dan. Sometimes it's quite necessary. And trust me, I've seen a lot of people in my consults where they think, oh, it's over because I could double text. I'm like, bro, it's not over. Like, you didn't even ask her a question in the last text. So, trust me, there's just been so many situations where I hear the story, I see the text messages, screenshots of the guy. I'm like, a double text or even a triple text can absolutely be in order, and it's not creepy. It kind of depends on the context and the content, right? But in many situations, it is not creepy. So Luciano says, how to deal with being in love with a self-proclaimed asexual woman. Luciano, this is not good. Well, it depends. If you're asexual, it could be a match made in heaven, right? If you're not asexual, get the hell out. I'm not kidding. Luciano, I'm sorry, but I'll just be really blunt here. Too many people settle for horrible, horrible seeming sex lives, in my opinion, because they get in a relationship with someone with horribly mismatched sexual desire, sexual drive, libido, whatever you want to call it, is signing up for a life of misery, Luciano. So please, you have my permission. Get out and remain a wonderful platonic friend with this woman. Please. So, Evan says, weird question. Do women ever want you to cheat on them? My friend just told me recently that his ex-girlfriend was let down, that he was not even flirting with other women at work. All right, Evan, this is a great question. So, no, they do not want you to cheat on them unless they have some kind of cuck queen kink. But even then, I'm pretty sure that would be something that they would want to discuss with you and give you permission. So, is he even cheating at that point, or is that just you fucking other women? However, I can understand why the ex-girlfriend wanted this, and it's not because she wanted him to cheat. This is such like male logic, in my opinion, but no offense to you, Evan, because I think it's a great question. All right. So your friend told you recently that his ex-girlfriend was let down, and he was not even flirting with other women at work. Here's the thing. Women want to know that the guy they are with has the skills to attract other women, that other women would be attracted to him, that he's high in demand. This is one of the principles of the female gaze, which I talk about on my channel. I forget what I named it, but it's basically the fact that, oh yeah, I called the Cinderella fallacy, or I should call it the Cinderella principle, which is the idea that men have their pick, like Prince Charming and Cinderella, where he went around. No, sorry, I called it the glass slipper principle, where Prince Charming, he went around with a glass slipper to every single woman in the land, and whoever it fit, she'd be like, fuck yes, I'll be your bride. Do you know what I mean? So it's like your this girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, wants to know that her boyfriend isn't with her because he couldn't get anyone else. They want him to have his pick of every girl in the world. And he chooses her. He doesn't settle for her because she's the hottest one that he could get. And he couldn't get very many. And he just fell into it. And she gave him a chance. So he's there. That's an extremely unsexy, unerotic, unromantic idea to women. So women want a guy to be able to flirt, a guy to be able to attract other women, but for him to choose her every day, although I hate that stupid quote, but a lot of women like it, right? They want him to want to be with her because she's the best, not because I have no flirting skills and I couldn't get anyone if I tried, and there's lots of hot girls at work and none of them like my boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So, no, she doesn't want him to cheat. That's very like male thinking there, for sure. Like wishful thinking, I should say. But she does want him to be attractive to other women and have the self-control to be like, nobody compares to my girlfriend. So does that make sense, Evan? Hello, my Sheldon one. Shamanic wisdom keeper says she wants to see he is high value. If he isn't, she'll lose attraction and be the one to cheat. Seen it happen with my own eyes. Well, that's definitely like red pill fear porn right there, shamanic wisdom keeper. But I'm not saying this didn't happen once, okay? But it's not that if she sees he isn't high value, she will automatically lose attraction and definitely cheat. However, if she feels he's a loser or something and just totally low value, she might lose attraction, okay? But in this situation, if the girls aren't flirting with him at work, it is not some kind of uh what am I thinking of? It's not some kind of law of nature that she will lose attraction and be the one to cheat. However, a girl, I agree with you, shamanic wisdom keeper, does want to feel that he is high value in the way I described. Yes, that would be ideal. Mixed Metalhead says, I still don't understand the Cinderella analogy. All right, well, I'm calling the glass slipper principle, okay? Do you know the story of Cinderella? Do you know that Cinderella loses her glass slipper at the ball and the Prince Charming finds it, right? And he goes around with the glass slipper and he says, whoever's foot this glass slipper fits shall be my bride, because she was the mysterious woman at the ball, Cinderella. So he goes around to all the women in the land, in his kingdom, and he tries the glass slipper on their feet. And every woman's foot is too wide and big because they're so masculine, right? And only Cinderella is delicate and feminine enough to have such a tiny foot. Sounds a bit like foot binding, am I right? But anyway, so finally, he finds Cinderella. The shoe fits, and he's like, you shall be my bride. She's like, of course I'll be your bride. So do you see that the prince, he had his pick of every single woman in the land, but he picked Cinderella. That's how women want to feel. They want to feel that this guy's a master of game. He's an alpha Chad. He's good at flirting. He has good social skills. He's attractive. Women like him. He had options. He's had girlfriends before. He's he could he could get somebody else. He's not desperate. And yet, because of her personality and beauty combined, she is more attractive to him than any other woman that he could have. Okay? That is the female gaze. That's what women want. They don't want to feel, and they don't want to realize and acknowledge, well, they don't know, so they can't acknowledge it, the truth about the state of most men's dating lives. That they don't have as many options as women. The women want to feel he's got more options than her. He's that in demand. Everybody loves him, but he chose her. Do you get it? So, oh, cool. Thank you so much for your super chat. He says, red flag example. I see her purposely ignoring, but speaking in mutual group chats, then replying like a day later. All right, that is not a red flag. That is not a red flag. She replies a day later. That is fine. A day later. Give her some grace. Okay? It's not like she's taken weeks. A day later. In this day and age, with all the social media noise and things vying for our attentions, and she's still responding to you a day later. That's fine. That's not a red flag. Don't be so jumpy and touchy that if she doesn't get back to you within the day, it's over, because you have self-respect. You know what I mean? Cool. You got to just chill and take your focus off her as well. Try to date someone else as well. And then you won't have all your eggs in one basket, and you won't be kind of like naturally all amped up if she does or doesn't respond, because she's your sole chance. You have other chances. Do you know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, cool. But this is not a red flag, in my opinion. That is not bad. That is fine. Especially, let me ask you this, cool. Have you been on a date yet? And how many dates have you been on? Especially if she hasn't met you yet. That's very good. Super Dog Lord 567 says, "Don't act like she's the only woman on earth. Abundance mentality." That's good advice. The only thing I don't like is abundance mentality because it's like, in my opinion, it's kind of like you shouldn't fake abundance mentality. Focus instead of on abundance mentality of actually creating options for yourself. Then you won't have to just fake this abundance mentality because it won't be just, oh, I'm pretending I have abundance. You actually have abundance or close to it. Then you don't need to fake this mindset of abundance mentality because it comes naturally because you actually have options. So you'll be acting perfectly in accord with abundance mentality, but you won't be faking it till you make it. So yeah. Evan Wells 1. Thank you so much for your super chat, Evan Wells 1. And he says, curious, have you looked at Casey Zander's work? I have watched a few videos of Casey Zander, Evan Wells 1. Because my friend, Philosophy Junkies, shout out to Philosophy Junkies, he sends me some of Casey Zander's videos. Now, I will be honest with you. I have not yet seen one video of Casey Zander's which I actually liked. However, many of you guys on my channel tell me you get a lot from Casey Zander. Send me a video. Find me one good Casey Zander video and prove me wrong. But personally, I have not yet seen a Casey Zander video that I have not thrown my hands up in the air and started screaming in horror. So, if there's a good Casey Zander video that you guys like, Alien Traveler says, Casey has been throwing some fire videos. All right, get me the most fire video of all. Send it to me. And prove me wrong. Okay? And Evan Wells 1, let me ask you, why do you ask, and do you like Casey Zander's work, or how do you feel about it, rather? Tully says, exactly my reaction when I see Casey Zander's video. Are you serious? Tully's a kindred spirit, because a lot of people, they tell me they love his videos, but I'm literally screaming because I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. He's going to be like totally logically breaking it down like a geometric proof or whatever, like a mathematical proof. And then it's like, what the hell? This is just kind of like the appearance of a mathematical proof. It actually makes no logical sense. It has no logical connection to his little chicken scratches on the whiteboard. What? I'm so confused, but I guess people are getting stuff out of it. I don't know. I guess some stuff like needs to be said or needs to be heard, but I don't like it. My Sean wants it. It's the whiteboard, lol. When he pulls out the whiteboard, it makes me feel like it's the most official shit ever. Exactly. And I'm like, impress me, teacher. But then I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm so confused. That made no sense. Tully says, I have over 10K pickup approaches and dates with 10s. I know what works and what doesn't based on experience. Well, there you go. So, yeah. Are you for real, Tallest? Be real. 10K pickup approaches? And if so, share some knowledge with us because I'm sure you have a lot of great knowledge to share with us because I agree. Casey Center, what's the deal with that? But so AAA says, isn't every woman and man different? Why isn't it important to even talk about relationships in a way which generalizes all women and men? And there's no such thing as female behavior. Well, I think it's a great question, AA. And like in some respects, I agree with you. Everyone's different. But at the same time, there's a lot of patterns, aren't there? And there's a lot of things that there's a lot of principles and kind of like observations and anecdotes that can help you out so much. I used to kind of think this way as well. Like, yeah, it's stupid. Like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? But once you get a lot of experience, you kind of start realizing that there are a lot of patterns and themes and concepts that can really help when it comes to understanding relationships, when it comes to understanding dating. And obviously, it doesn't apply to all men and all women, but just having some sense of these concepts can illuminate so much behavior, honestly. And I don't know, like you don't have to indulge in generalizations and everything, but I think it's very helpful. Like if I just never learned anything about the male gaze because I'm like, that's ridiculous. Every man is different, which, I used to think. I feel I would be doing myself a great disservice. I would be missing out on so much understanding, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's a great question, but honestly, the generalizations, they're very useful. Maybe you guys have a better answer for that. What do you think? But I wouldn't give up the generalizations. You don't have to apply them to every situation you encounter, but it can make sense of a lot of situations you do encounter. And if it doesn't, you could just discard it and be like, this one, it doesn't seem to apply for this guy or whatever. He's a unique individual. He's the exception that proves the rule, whatever. But what do you think, AA? AA says, are there genuine statistics that you can provide which show these tactics work apart from an anecdotal perspective? No, AA, this is not science. I have not run any kind of like randomized controlled science. These are just my personal observations. Okay, like perhaps you might want to seek out a more science-based approach. Uh-oh, there isn't any because I've been looking. For example, I just read John Gottman's book, who has a lab, okay? I mean, he gives some genuine statistics. He has a chapter in there on the differences between men and women. It didn't have anything to do with dating. It does have something with relationships. I think the generalizations that you can kind of observe can help you understand the facts he talks about in that chapter. But yeah, I mean, it's not science, it's observation, it's anecdotal. It's from, perhaps in the future science will prove it, perhaps it will disprove it. But for now, I think it's a very good way to explain, it's a very good model that can explain a lot of what you see going on. However, if you prefer hard science, seems like there's slim pickings out there. That's kind of what the red pill started taking up the mantle because they're like, yeah, science isn't going to help us out with this. Like, where are they talking about how to like get women to be attracted to you? If there's a book that I haven't read yet on this topic, which like gives a wonderful science-based theory, let me know. What do you think, AA? So, but AA will say that every guy who has slept with like more than 1,000 women has basically told me, you are correct. I agree with you. So, who has found my channel. So, The last guy I talked to, I asked him, "So teach me, like, what works?" He was like, "You pretty much said it all on your channel." So Evan Wells one says, "I don't think Xander is necessarily good. It just seems like he would need to be looked at through a lens, a very harsh look at the worst of female psychology, but some truth to it with a grain of salt." Yeah. Hello, Jeff Hall. And he says, "In my opinion, I'm not really a fan of dating advice or generalization because it's based too much around red pill philosophy." Well, I don't base mine around red pill philosophy, okay? I am I respect what they're trying to do, but many of the actual red pill videos and whatever, I absolutely hate with a burning passion. So, yeah. And I respect that, AA. And if you find any science of attraction or dating books that you want to recommend that you come across in your search, let me know as well. So Kingping119 says, "Am I overcompensating if I go to the gym and I'm short?" No, you are not, Kingping119. Do what you can. Do what you can to max out on your looks maxing game. You are not overcompensating. Don't worry about that. Just do what you can to maximize everything you got. Lori Strode says, "Random question. Would a girl that you were checking out at the mall like it if you bought her a dress before approaching her and approach her and say, 'I see you in this dress,' or what should you say?" Lori, I would not do it. That is a little too, they will consider that creepy. I would not do that. I would just try to do it the normal way, but I would not buy her any dresses or anything like that until much later. Lori says, "Well, that question was just for fun." Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it would be kind of like a cool fantasy or whatever, but in real life, I don't think they'd like it unless she happened to be like a gold digger and that she might just use you for money and shopping. CJ says, "Is living in the moment when talking to women something important to understand?" Personally, I don't think so, CJ. But I know like some people they kind of take that approach like have you heard of that thing, the fearless man? Like that's kind of what they teach guys, like that's the solution to everything. And for some of them, I guess it's kind of been the solution to their confidence issues, but that's not something I think that women really like pick up on or notice. Like whether a guy's living in the moment or not living in the moment, like I don't think they can tell. As long as you're saying the right things and acting the right way, they do not fucking care if you are living in the moment or planning for the future. You know what I mean? Alien Traveler says, "What if she comes back to me after she got rejected by another dude? What is going through her mind? I'm just her safe choice." Okay, good question, Alien Traveler. you know, I'm kind of hearing like Beardo speaks, my boyfriend Beardo's voice in my head. Okay, and he has a really good attitude when it comes to all of this because he's just kind of like, he just takes the attitude of basically like, I am going to capitalize upon every opportunity I get. He doesn't have an ego like about this kind of thing at all, and I like respect it because he'll just be like, she wants to have sex with me, like fuck yes, like I'm going to have sex with her, like I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's something like what you would say, because why does it matter if you're her safe choice? Like the fact that you're even in her roster is an honor with all the guys that approach women. with all the guys that want to have sex with women, don't take it as an insult, in my opinion. Just be like, okay, I'm going to capitalize upon my opportunity to make her obsessed with me. I don't know if you actually want that as a guy, but to blow her mind, to be the best she's ever had. Maybe that's something guys want, right? So if she comes back to you after she got rejected by another dude, what is going through her mind? Probably what's going through her mind is, I'm so glad I have this guy who is still interested in me because there's a lot I like about this guy and I really need some kind of comfort and, TLC, whether sexually or emotionally, from this guy. And I liked this guy too. I just like this other dude slightly better, but I realized that he's kind of toxic or whatever. So I'm so glad I have this guy as my backup because maybe I'll give him a second chance. Maybe I was too hasty in judging this guy. Let me give him a second chance. I mean, you're not it's not necessarily an insult. I mean, it's basically like, let me explore the options I have. This one was in first place, this one's second place. Let me boot second place up to first place and demote first place. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't take this as some kind of blow to the ego. I would just be grateful that the girl wants to have sex with you and know that you can make this girl forget the last guy by being good in bed. Maybe study some sexual techniques, some dirty talk, or some BDSM fantasies. Tully says, could you check the article I emailed? Yes, Tully. The only thing is it might take me a while to read this article. Here we go. All right, let's read this article. It's kind of long, but I'm kind of curious. All right, how to tell if a girl is horny without her having to tell you, by Chase Amonte. One of the things that it seems like a lot of guys have difficulty realizing is when women actually want them. Already, excellent clickbait, my dude. This is exactly what guys want to hear. Chances are, you've heard some of the conventional ways on figuring out if a girl is horny. Some of them are, check her heart rate? The fuck? Are you going to pull out like a stethoscope and check her heart rate or what? Check her breathing rate? How are you going to do that? Like put your hand on her neck or whatever? The faster she's breathing, the more excited. Check her pupil dilation. Oh, fuck. This is terrible advice. Yeah, just stare into her eyes and use a little caliper or something. Check her vaginal dilation. Oh my god, I'm screaming. Oh my god. This is fucking so stupid so far. I'm sorry. Or how lubricated she is down there. It's like, the rate of lubrication is gaining. This is ridiculous. Okay, good. Great stuff if you're an MD and you've got your stethoscope handy or a pair of rubber gloves. Okay, at least he's self-aware. But how do you figure that out when you're standing across the room from a girl or you're deep in conversation with her? Not exactly the right time for a lubrication check. Okay, at least we agree on that. One of the most underrated skills for the man interested in getting together with women is the ability to quickly identify the women who are looking for the same thing that he is. This skill is called targeting, and it's one I've put a fair amount of work into cultivating myself. One of the most important aspects of targeting, it turns out, is figuring out how to tell if a girl is horny. Horny women acting up. This ain't the movies. If you keep up with my blog on here, you know I tend to recommend movies every so often as wonderful places to learn nonverbal gestures and communication, as well as the voice tones and general demeanors of attractive, powerful men. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Well, another thing that movies occasionally get right, but usually don't, is accurately depicting horny women. In the movies, lusty women are usually depicted as wild, affectionate sex pots, quite far from how things actually normally shape up in reality. I agree with that. When I watch, TV shows and stuff, I'm like, What male gaze? What in the male gaze is this? Like, what lonely male writer wrote their fantasy and now is tricking all the guys out there into thinking this is reality? To start you off in this post, I'll begin with a comment from a female reader of the blog here, making her remarks on the post telling women you're not boyfriend material. She writes, sometimes a girl will purposely be rude or have an attitude with you when she knows it's in the bag because, hey, you're a hookup, not boyfriend material. So why show you my sparkling personality or even shade for this guy? Lol, it's nothing personal, just a time saver. This comment should start some wheels turning in the heads of guys who are beginners or intermediates and just getting their legs under them as lovers of women. And it's going to have all the grizzled veterans out there smiling and nodding. Oh god. The question the newer guys inevitably have if they have when they hear something like this is, wait, what? You mean a woman will be mean to you if she wants to? And the answer, of course, is yes, she will be sometimes. The first time I became consciously aware of this was in 2008 when I was out at a bar in Southern California with my then girlfriend. A close friend of mine who had a prolific history with women and a few other friends and acquaintances. My girlfriend at the time was standing away from me, arms crossed, fuming and acting very short-tempered and terse with me at the time. She is so horny right now, my buddy said as we both looked off in her direction. Tell me about it, I replied. I haven't slept with her in a week just because I've been super busy. But yeah, she wants it really bad right now. And then I stopped. Wait, how did he know that? And how did I know that? She certainly did look anything like what horny looked like in the movies. Oh, God. I quickly had a series of women's faces flash through my mind. Women I'd known I had wanted to go to bed with who'd also been acting like, well, total bitches, if you'll pardon the language. I don't like that word a whole lot, but that's what they'd be acting like. And the reason they were acting that way was because they were horny and they wanted sex. Brilliant. Brilliant. I have to hand it to you. Wonderful clickbait, wonderful way to tell men exactly the kind of thing that they want to hear. I have to hand it to you, my dear. Wonderful. Oh, dear Lord. All right, let's keep reading. So, I took my girlfriend home that night and gave her a hard hour-long stretch in bed and brought her to satisfaction a number of times. Yeah, okay, somehow I doubt that. And when I finished with her, she was all smiles and lovey-dovey cutesiness. The meanness and hostility she'd been exuding all night evaporated instantly. She took on the disposition of a tiny little kitten, big doe eyes and everything. But it made me start thinking about things quite a bit differently because until that night, I hadn't consciously realized that a woman who's mean and terse and rude might not be that way because that's how she really was. She might actually be that way because she's just horny. All right, let's talk about this so far. All right. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Just all right, first of all, I have a number of thoughts. First thing, yes, if a woman has a high sex drive and she hasn't had sex in a week, then she's going to be kind of irritated and annoyed. So I agree with him that a woman could be irritated and annoyed if she hasn't had sex in a week and she's more like a once a day kind of person. All right. Now, second point, I guess it's some big realization to men that, yeah, I can kind of see this because it's like so many guys on my channel. I've tried to say and multiple times, like brattiness, okay? Women, like in that video I made about the 10 things women want in the bedroom, right? I tried to give the snow leopard analogy that a woman wants a little pushback. Oh, you guys call them shit tests, right? They want some banter. They want a challenge. So yes, for many guys, that's like a completely mind-blowing revelation because like, what? I thought women were perfect, fluffy pink angels. And mean, hard feminist women wouldn't be interested in sex. Those masculine bitches, I like submissive, soft, feminine women. So it's like a revelation to them that a woman who's kind of like showing her aggressive side, showing her personality, could also be horny or want sex. I mean, to me, that's obvious, and it's very stupid that that even needs to be said. However, I guess that's a revelation to men who often have this very fake version of what women are, and they kind of look for it. Like, they think that, I've seen this in other ways too. Like, for example, men are like, what? A shy woman who isn't like dressed in a very sexual manner could also want sex? That blows my mind because I thought women had to be stirring a drink with a straw, licking the straw, batting her eyes at me, pushing up her cleavage, and be like, hello there, hot stuff, or whatever. Yeah. So I guess if that's a revelation to you, then welcome to your new life. I don't know. So, yeah. But this is really stupid, in my opinion, that he's kind of like, men, don't feel bad about yourselves because every time a woman is mean to you, it means she wants to jump on your dick. He's got a 2 million view YouTube video right there. I could put that in my mouth and I could probably get a ton of views because that's exactly what guys want to hear. What? All along? This woman actually wasn't mean to me and rejecting me. She actually wanted to have sex with me really bad. Trust me, there's nothing that men want to hear more, in my opinion. And I know because I accidentally said something like that in my raw attractive power video, and I got hundreds of thousands, or maybe just tens of thousands, of comments to that exact same effect, like, oh wow, all along I knew this woman wanted to have sex with me. Okay, that wasn't the point of my video, but that's exactly the point every man took from it. So anyway, yeah, this is gonna be hot under the collar because I'm annoyed, but I'm also entertained. Okay? So, yeah. I guess this is good for you guys to know. But all right, should I continue this? Uh yeah. All right, let's just continue this. Why not? I hope I'm not boring you guys, but all right. So next session. Why horny girls can be mean girls. Do you remember when you were a child and there was something you really wanted? Maybe food, maybe a toy, and for whatever reason, some cruel adult simply refused to give it to you. How do you start acting? Probably pretty rude, short, and mean, right? That's what often happens with horny women. When a woman wants to go to bed with a man and starts feeling she's having a tough time getting what she wants, she's pretty naturally and completely understandably going to start getting pretty darn annoyed. There are generally two ways this manifests. One, she's mean when you meet her. This is the girl who's already really horny and has been disappointed by about 10 men today already. Oh, God, no. This is red pill BS, but I'll keep going. This girl is easy pickings for a man who's willing to persist through that early wave of pushback he's going to get when he meets her and who's going to move fast with her. Conversely, she'll be a nightmare for a guy who moves slow, her patience is already paper thin, and she's not going to tolerate another pokey puppy trying to ease her hour by hour along the path to the bedroom. She's only there for men who are playing to win. Okay, well, I kind of agree with this, but for a different reason, okay? Because, first of all, what this guy is not understanding, and what you guys, I guess, probably don't understand, is that women aren't always submissive, feminine, anime characters or whatever, right? That's the male gaze. The female gaze, think about every single romance novel, right? It's a strong-willed, spirited, sassy woman with a quick tongue, okay? Think about Pride and Prejudice, okay? She's smart. She doesn't hold back. She speaks her mind. Do you know what I'm saying? She engages in banter, insulting enemies to lovers style banter with Mr. Darcy. Okay? So a lot of women, they're kind of doing that because they want a man who can handle it. They want a man who's good with women, who doesn't say, wow, that's a red flag. She's playing games with me. I like nice submissive girls. That screams beta to a girl. Okay, I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you some serious truth bombs here. Nothing screams beta more than that. Okay? Jasmine says, he is spot on. When women are rude, it's because they want to fuck. Yeah, you wish. You wish, Jasmine. Yeah, I'm being rude right now. It's because I want to fuck you? You wish. You wish. Not always, but usually. Yeah, you fell for it. You fell for the clickbait. So, back to what I was saying is women like enemies to lovers. Women like banter. Women like pushback. Women like a guy who can handle it. Like, have you ever heard a woman say, I want a man who can handle me. Okay? That doesn't necessarily mean I want to fuck. That's why I'm being rude, but it does mean if I find a man who isn't butthurt by handling me, I might want to fuck him. So it's like if a guy persists through her rudeness, that's hot to her. That's erotic. He's not some beta. Okay? Jasmine says, many women are rude to me. Yeah, I understand why. So, anyway, let's get back to this. So, number 2 reason. She's nice when you meet her, then gets mean. This occurs when you've managed to trip a girl's he's a slow mover alarms. In a nutshell, she likes you at the outset when she's being nice, but then starts feeling like things aren't progressing. Maybe you keep bantering with her and she's saying, okay, time to move things along now. Eventually, she can grow frustrated, slip into auto rejection where she effectively gives up on anything ever happening with you or starts feeling like it's too much work and becomes cold and dismissive. That I agree with because, women kind of expect men to know how to do the right things. And if he's just going super slow and he just is basically saying, I don't know women, I don't know how to make the moves, then she's going to get annoyed. Like, what kind of beta cuck am I dealing with here? I want a man who knows game. I want a man who actually understands women. I want a man who actually understands the female gaze. So I agree with him in that she can get kind of annoyed at that point. Like, oh, come on, bro. Okay. So thank you, Lori. That's very nice of you. So I agree with him on that point. That's yet another one of those reasons why I harp on here so much about moving fast. The guy who moves fast puts smiles on women's faces and give women what they want, while the guy who moves slow run out women's patience and end up alone at the end of the night wondering what went wrong. I basically agree with that. I'll tell you a story about the first time I started realizing subconsciously that one of the ways to tell if a girl is horny is to look for whether she's mean. I was in a nightclub in mid-2006, slightly drunk and momentarily by myself when I noticed a pretty Hispanic girl next to me looking at me desperately. I noticed she was with a guy, but she didn't look too happy to be there. She briefly leaned into me and then whispered, "Help me," and I sprung into action. Okay, well, help me, that's her coming on to him. But, "Hey, babe," I said, turning and throwing my arm around her. "I was wondering where you ran off to. Who's your friend?" She introduced the guy to me and then told him I was her boyfriend. "Oh, well, it was a pleasure meeting you both," the guy said and made a fast exit. I laughed. The girl turned to me annoyed. "I was staring at you forever," she said. "Why didn't you jump in any sooner?" "I want to make a good entrance," I told her. "Besides, I figure my girlfriend can play nice with the strangers for a few minutes while I get drunk." Ugh. She was busting my balls pretty hard for a few minutes, and I had a little trouble keeping up with her. But then I moved her to the bar with me, and then I moved her on the dance floor. With 7 minutes of meeting her, I was making out with her. One of my hands was up her bra, and my other hand was down her panties. This was back in my club makeout guy days. I don't do that anymore. Oh, okay, whatever. It's far easier to get a girl back to your place when you haven't kissed her yet. Okay, that's interesting. Later, I thought to myself, wow, had I not been a bit drunk, I probably wouldn't have done anything with that girl because she seemed so confrontational. But then things like that keep happening with mean girls because most of the times it turns out mean girls are horny girls. Yeah. He confused correlation with causation here. This is a very common thing I notice in red pill videos. He's saying that when girls are mean, they're horny. And the cause of them being mean is that they're horny. When rather, it's that when girls are mean and the guy can roll with it and doesn't just assume, oh, but a mean girl would never want to have sex, he ends up having sex because he was able to do exactly what she wanted, which was have a guy who could handle the meanness, not get scared off by it, and escalate anyway. So, do you see that? Of course, he just doesn't understand women that well intuitively. So he saw a behavior, but he presumed the cause. So, yeah. I mean, the main thing I'm picking up from this is that it's just, again, mind blowing to a guy that a woman who is confrontational, masculine, aggressive, rude could want to have sex when that's not true at all. Read a freaking romance novel and you will see that's everything. That's in a romance novel. There's not one male gaze heroine in a romance novel who is sweet, submissive, cuddly, fluffy, and like your mom as a young woman. So yeah, unbelievable. Mean means horny, but horny doesn't necessarily mean mean. Confused? Great, that's what I was going for. Kidding aside, horny and mean are kind of like squares and rectangles. If you remember your geometry, all squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are squares. Almost universally speaking, if a woman is being mean, it's because she's horny. That is fucking stupid, but I mean, it could be a good assumption. Like, let's say you're in a relationship with a woman, that sex could make her feel more in sex brain and be nicer. Seems like this guy doesn't have sex with his girlfriends too much, so I can understand why his girlfriends are always annoyed with him because he just is too busy to have sex with them for a whole week. So there's that too. Almost universally speaking, okay. Yes, there are a few legitimately bad apples out there who are really just mean people, but even most of the time, the bad apples soften up quite a bit after a good roll in the hay. Yeah, like I'm saying. I'm telling you, almost every time you see a mean girl, she's a horny girl too. Yeah, because women have sex drives too. Now, mean is different from indifferent, so blah, blah, blah. Woman is cold and aloof, whatever. So here's how to tell the difference. Mean is acting like you're stupid, busting your balls, being rude, being selfish, getting angry. Yeah, those are just typical things that women do when they're out with men, and that doesn't mean they're not horny, and it doesn't mean they don't want to talk to guys, and that's just how they treat all men, and they expect with the female gaze that a guy is not scared off by that, because any guy who's scared off by that, they see as beta. All right, I think we've pretty much done this article. I think there's some good things in what he's saying. Like I said, he's definitely confusing things, but he's definitely not seeing things very clearly. But at least he is giving some good information, which is don't be scared off by mean girls. They might still want to have sex. And also in a relationship, if your girl is acting really annoyed because you haven't had sex with her in a week, she will be nicer after you have sex. Those things I liked about the article. The rest is he's trying, okay? He's trying and he's failing, but he's trying. So, all right, let's see what you guys think about it. So, let's see. So, Max says sometimes you got to wrestle them, and if they're really big and aggressive. Okay, well, hopefully you mean consensually, Max. But Mark says, haha, you're funny. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate your honesty and non-clickbait format. Thanks, Mark. So, Max is big, mean, and moist. Louise says, I was starting to feel good about my she-boss being really mean at me. Yeah, see, I think that's kind of what he wanted guys to feel. Theus Cream says, it can feel manipulative to start a conversation unrelated to sex, but for all intents and purposes, it is to have sex. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and I appreciate your insight. Okay, I think this was from before. Oh, I see what you're saying, Theus. Yes, you're engaging in a male blind spot there where you think that you should just be able to be, like, very direct and just be like, hello, would you like to engage in sex? Because that's all I'm here for. Yes, I have a video on that, Theus, which is why it's not a good idea. However, I'm not really sure the most ethical possible way in most people's heads to get around that, because I understand the ethical dilemma there. But trust me, it's not attractive to women to just be that direct, because it's just not a good deal for them when you kind of we'll go into that, but I have some videos on this topic. These I understand what you're saying. So Max says you're right. Tricky Beat says nice cope. LMAO. Jasmine says many women are rude to me. Yeah. Frisco says you must fight through it. I agree, Frisco. Dan says that explains so much. It does, Dan? What did it explain to you? Frisco says it separates the men from the boys. Exactly, Frisco. Daniel Rungo says lovely insight. Thanks, Daniel. Lori Stroh says, Victoria, you're gorgeous as fuck. I gotta say, and your personality too. I mean, all of you is gorgeous. That is really nice, Lori. I appreciate that. Thank you. I really do. Tampa Tom says, women expect a lot, apparently. They do, Tampa Tom. Luis says, how to respond to a woman being mean 101 then? Well, you gotta come up with you gotta roll with it, you gotta roll with the punches. You gotta act like it doesn't offend you, and you gotta joke back, and you gotta banter. Hi, I lol. Uh, Data Scream says, misattribution indeed. Super Dog Lover 567 says, bitchy is not attractive. It shows that the guy is weak and not dominant enough. Could you explain that, Super Dog Lover? Because are you saying bitchy is not attractive to men? I agree, but it is attractive to women. And so they like being bitchy because it's attractive. That's the female gaze for you. Bratting. Lord Story says, I want to read some female fantasy novels. Got any good ones, Victoria? Well, I usually recommend Lord reading the bad ones because the more bad they are, the more transparent they are. But yeah. So then Willem the creepy foot sniffer likes girls' feet. Says women are ruled by their emotions. Contrastly, men use logic to guide their actions and behavior. Yeah, well, did this guy use logic to guide his actions and behavior? No, he didn't. He tried, and guess what? His logic got him nowhere. Okay, you have the number one male blind spot, the emotional beings fallacy. Willem the creepy foot sniffer. Yeah, that's real logical, isn't it? Calling your username the creepy foot sniffer. It's very logical to like girls' feet, is it not? Okay. Unless they allow themselves to be influenced by the chaotic disaster of women's emotions and emotionally influenced behavior, in which case they are not real masculine men. Just my opinion. Of course, I can be totally wrong. And you are totally wrong. I'm sorry. Someone here is going to say I'm totally wrong in 3, 2, 1. You're wrong. Giga Brother says, Victoria, how do women perceive men sharing their feelings? That is a good question, Giga Brother. That depends, okay? It depends what you mean by feelings. Okay, if you just kind of trauma dump on them, it might not go well, okay? Because they want you to take this masculine role. Okay, so is the masculine role, does it involve like being Mr. Therapy dude and being just totally crying about your feelings? Not necessarily. However, in a relationship, can you kind of like do some of that? Of course, okay. But in the beginning, don't try to go for this like vulnerable dude. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do any of it, just don't go overboard because you will end up with like some of the guys on F Boy Island who tried that strategy. So Invader Zim says, women that day, they're down for sex, tell you dirty things, and then bounce at the last minute and act angry when they don't get what they want. What's up with that? Sounds like a very specific situation here. So, okay. So a woman, she's down for sex and you dirty talked, and then she bounced at the last minute. Well, I understood it up to that point, but then why would she act angry that she doesn't get what is she angry about in this situation? Because she's the one who bounced at the last minute, so she didn't want it, right? So what is she angry about? That's what I didn't understand. Sam L. Williams said, I told her, that's okay, I'll be around when you come back into town. She didn't see my message yet. We've only been talking through IGDM. She does travel a lot, so I think she was being real with me. All right, that sounds good, Sam L. Williams. Jasmine says, my name is Raven. This is an old account of mine. I mentored about 12 guys so far in person. You want to trust her or me? Okay, well, I mentored a lot more than 12 guys, but okay. Person, Willem is ruled by stupidity. Super Dog Lover 567. Thinking with the wrong head. Yep. Dan says, it explains why mom and dad were fighting when I was a kid. Never understood why they were fighting about dumb shit. I mean, I don't know if that was the case in your parents' case, but maybe. Invader Zim says, you're skipping all my questions. Well, I did do one of yours. Then Lori says, hell yeah, women like dark and prideful and rebellious men. Haha. Yes, they do, and that's very obvious to anyone who reads a female romance novel. Evan Wells wants to know, what game advice, books, or writers, creators do you recommend? Are there any find good? I do have some book recommendations that I now link in my YouTube video descriptions if you want to check those out, but I'm always on the hunt. I'm like binging constantly books and stuff and courses, so Max1653 says, "Hi, I've been in love with you for a long time," said the man who was put on timeout and told to back off. Yeah, I agree, Max. Jasmine, you know what's beta? Listening to your advice. Okay. Why are you here then, Jasmine? What does it say about you? No, just kidding. Stupid. So, Willem, the creepy foot says, "So anything you disagree with, you call a male blind spot. That's not an argument, lol." Watch my last video because I go into the emotional beings fallacy in detail. Well, not actually, I kind of cover it briefly there, but in my live I did about the 10 blind spots. I go into it in a lot more detail. JF1 up says, "How can I be less of a pussy when talking to women? I struggle with being direct with my words when it comes to playing dates and everything else." Okay, well, it's not. Email me screenshots of what you are doing, and I'll tell you what you should do because it's not that complicated and it's not that hard. But you just need to know what to do and what to say. It's not that complicated, trust me. Okay. But send me what you are saying, or maybe give an example of what you are saying, and we can tell you what you should say. Thea screams, "It's affectionately, you're like the older sister I never had." Thanks, Thea. Louis says, "If he already has a child, it means the guy is not a creepy guy, right?" What does that mean, Louis? Because, yeah, a guy who has a child could be very creepy still. So Rory Burns says, "I forgot to chat to a girl I like in my college class. We did an hour of small talk. Last time we talked, it was random on different topics. She does smile when she sees me and looks at me. Does that mean she likes me?" Rory. Well, you could be new to my chat, but it doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna have to do the same things no matter what. You're going to have to escalate it, whether you. It doesn't matter whether she. So she talked to you for an hour. It was on random different topics. She smiled at you and she looks at you. Erase all that and still do what you're going to do and what you're going to have to do to take her on a date, to create some romantic scenario where you can escalate things. It doesn't have to be on an actual date, but you're going to have to create attraction, not look for attraction that's already there and pounce on it. Well, at least I want you to learn how to create attraction. So, Invader Zim says, "This girl and me had a lot in common and feel bad that we left off like that. Completely ghosted me." Yeah, well, why did she get angry at you, Invader Zim? Hello, I can't read your. It looks like C and then this character. I don't know what it is. Thank you so much for Super John. He says, "How to deal with someone who has bratty behavior." Okay. You want to be not triggered, not butthurt, not like insulted, not too prideful to fire back. You want to engage in playful responses to her banter with you. Now, some people take this to the extreme where they almost like take every kind of bratty response they've gotten from a girl and they try to come up and workshop a perfect response so that the next time it comes up, they have a good response ready. Okay. But, that's one approach to take. But you just kind of want to joke around, almost like maybe what you would kind of like, don't guys like put each other down a lot? Like, don't they kind of like rag on each other, like rip on each other a little bit? It's kind of like that. You just kind of want to make jokes, but you don't want to be insulting with the jokes, but you kind of just want to be teasing and flirtatious. Okay. And you want to enjoy it. Maybe read some enemies to lovers romance novels because you will see all the witty repartee the friendly, snide banter that women love so much that corresponds to the bratting kink. Maybe that's a good approach to take as well. Okay, so you can see the kind of responses they're expecting. But the main thing is just to enjoy it. It's like my boyfriend, he always says, like, I'm not afraid of a challenge. Uh, I enjoy like a feisty, spirited woman because it's like he can handle it. Okay, he's not threatened. So that's kind of the overall attitude. You just want to kind of enjoy the banter, the teasing, the flirtation. You don't want to be threatened by a strong woman. You don't want to say, "Oh, she's not submissive, like she's not for me," or whatever. Okay, a brat tamer gets with an alpha submissive. Alpha submissive is someone who needs you to prove to them that you're worthy of submission, okay? So, these are just some general guidelines, but yeah, that's the most important thing. So, JF1 up says, for example, and thanks again, C, and then this other thing, character. What do you think of that? So then, JF1 up says, for example, a girl I'm dating called me on the phone early, and before it ended, I set up a date by saying something like, do you want to go watch a movie with me? But I kept hesitating to say it. Yeah. Okay. So, but date saying something. So, okay, the girl you're dating called me up on the phone earlier, and before it ended, I set up a date by saying something like, "Do you want to go watch a movie with me?" But I kept hesitating to say it. Yeah, that could be phrased a little bit stronger because that kind of almost assumes like maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. Like I'm scared. Maybe something like, "Do you have any plans this weekend?" And she's like, "Oh yeah," and you're like, would you wanna go see a movie Friday night? Um, I've heard this movie is really good. I think you'd really like it. Something like that. Or, have you seen or you could even just say, "Have you seen this movie?" And then she's like, "Oh, no, I haven't." Like, you could just say something like, um, "Let's go Friday night, like, you and me." Something like that. It's just phrased a little bit stronger than, "Do you wanna go watch a movie?" That seems a little too hesitant and unconfident. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, you can maybe, like, workshop it to be even more peak, but that's kind of the general idea. But that's very normal and very good to do. Oh, but you said this was on the phone. Oh, okay, so on the phone, I think this was fine on the phone. Um, yeah, okay. I was thinking text messages for some reason, but this is on phone. Yeah, I mean, I think you should have said it. You should have said it, JF1 up. That's great. I mean, you're dating this girl, so she's waiting for you to ask her out. So honestly, this is very stupid, JF1 up. You're not stupid, but the idea that you shouldn't ask a girl you're dating on a date who's talking to you on the phone and that she wouldn't want to go on a date with you is stupid because of course she wants to go on a date with you. She's dating you and she's talking to you on the phone. She's literally waiting for you to ask her out. So I guess I should go because I'm getting a little tired because I missed some crucial details in this JF1 up. But this is, you know, I'm curious. Like, she seems to really like you. She's dating you. She's calling you. Trust me, if you don't ask her on the dates, she's not gonna ask you on the dates because that's how it goes in dating. That's the courtship ritual. The girl waits to be asked on the date. So it's up to you, JF1 up. Do not drop the ball on this. Oh my God, Willem. Okay. Vizio says, everything you say is from Corey Wayne. No, it's fucking not, okay? I've read Corey Wayne, and trust me, we disagree on everything I've just said, okay? I hate Corey Wayne. If you love him, go get his coaching or whatever. All right, guys. You guys are all annoying me. Not all of you. I spoke too soon, but a few people who are getting really butthurt that I disagree with them. My bad. All right, guys. Goodbye. And have a wonderful night. Some of you. Some of you. I hope you don't have a wonderful night. All right. Bye, guys. Willem the creepy foot sniffer. Yeah, you're one of them. It's not butthurt. It's the truth. What's the truth? You literally are calling yourself a creepy foot sniffer who likes girls' feet. Like, in what universe are you the expert? Bro, please. Oh, God. All right. Person man says it's over for you. You're finished? What the fuck is this? You're welcome, my Sheldon one. Good night, Greg. Thanks, Greg. Meathead Rob says good night. Good night, Meathead Rob. K Rob says keep your chin up. Thanks, K Rob. Hopefully that wasn't a veiled insult. Sharma says red pill motherfuckers need to chill. Yeah, they do. Max1653 says trolls are like rocks. Ignore them. Have a good night. Have a good night, Max. All right. Bye, guys.